Now, let's make a start. I know some people are joining in late, but let's make a start anyway, in the interest of time. Ladies, thank you so much for joining, and hi everyone who is listening to the recording as it usually happens. Today, this is the second part of the Career by Design series, session 5. I can't believe it. And you remember, and Eva will definitely remember, we had 13 sessions in part 1 last year. And this is what we are aiming for in this part 2. Today we will be talking about securing the raise you deserve and mastering the art of confident salary negotiation. Again, it is within the framework of Career by Design, which is my favorite philosophy when it comes to managing our careers. Let's manage our careers actively before someone else manages our career for us, because we may not like what it ends up being. Now, without further ado, let's go into the agenda. I would like to cover a couple of things which I think are maybe not the obvious things about salary negotiations, especially when it comes to women. Setting the stage, I would like to talk about the mindset and meaning and reframing the narrative about salary negotiation. There is a lot of psychology going behind the negotiation power. And this is what I like to cover, because it all starts with mindset, with our mindset about money and with our mindset about negotiation, especially as women. Again, then I will continue with designing your strategy before you even start talking about compensation negotiation. And yet, yes, we will be talking about compensation, not just salary, the full compensation. We'll talk about clarity, confidence, and what it means, the entire compensation package, the total compensation. I will introduce the ASK framework to you. There has been so many frameworks around, but I do like this ASK framework when it comes to salary negotiation. We'll be talking about handling pushback with poise. Pushback is not a rejection. Pushback is a part of the process. So let's look at it closely later. And then stepping into action. I will present you a couple of real stories, and I will also give you a very small task for your next move. Yeah, I will probably not be able to check on it, but why not? We'll see. Yeah, so that's me. For those of you who don't know me, and Eva told me a couple of times, don't say it so many times, everybody knows, but yeah, some people don't. So I will very, very briefly say that I spent more than 25 years in the corporate world, in financial services globally. And then I managing business transformation and strategic programs for the financial services sector across many countries. And then I pivoted into coaching, because as a part of my role, I was coaching and mentoring, especially the younger versions of myself, women who are looking for help in terms of their next move with their career, be it promotion, be it a bigger platform, or be it a career pivot, or whatever the next move can be. Now I coach and mentor women to take control of their career. Now, I don't only coach women, but women are my favorite clients. Now, why am I talking about reframing the narrative? And I was thinking about it for a while, a couple of days ago, how I shall tackle it, because reframing the narrative means that we are often thinking about salary raise or salary negotiation as an ask, or as a kind request, or as being brave, or even being maybe pushy, and therefore we shy away from raising the topic with our lines. It is very important to reframe salary negotiation as a leadership approach and as leadership and strategic thinking, rather than asking or begging for something more. And for women especially, it is important because the money mindset that many of us have is deeply rooted in our culture, in our society, very often repeated by our families, the way we are raised. That money is something people don't talk about. That some money is something we should not be pursuing because money is not important and money doesn't bring you happiness and all those things. So we are happy to settle for something that we believe is okay and is perhaps fair, and therefore we don't go for anything more, because that would be pushing. That would be seen as being difficult, or as being someone who is looking after herself only, right? So the reason I think we should be reframing this narrative is coming from the point where money is power, money is important, and what is really important is that what we bring to the table, what we bring to our organization, the value that we bring, should be in exchange for the money that we believe we are worth and what we believe we are is worth what we are bringing to the company. So it's a transaction. It's an exchange of value rather than someone doing you a favor or someone being nice to you. And I think this is a big thing for me. For example, it was because I always thought, "Lau, I will not be talking about the salary rise now because I will be seen as difficult, and it's not the right time anyway." And then, yeah, I had such a good discussion with my line manager yesterday. I'm not going to spoil now to break it or to spoil it or whatever. So I will bring it maybe next year, or maybe, oh yeah, I will wait. I will wait because it will come. So let's look at it from a different angle. It is a leadership thing. It is strategic thinking. It is negotiating for your worth. And believe it or not, people respect you more when you advocate for yourself and when you negotiate properly. Unfortunately, salary raises do not go often to those who deserve it, but to those who ask. So let's look at this in practice and why it matters now. Of course, all of us know that gender pay gap still persists, and it is shocking. It is shocking even in places where one would believe it doesn't happen anymore, because there are a lot of companies who are very vocal about, oh yeah, diversity and inclusion, absolutely, everything is even. It is not. It's just when you look at the data, it is not, and it is still shocking. So then again, we as women need to be particularly aware of it, because chances are we are earning less than our male colleagues at the same level and in the same role. And because oftentimes salaries are not disclosed at companies, they are still, confidential, we don't know about it. And we have no way of knowing unless we talk to our colleagues and unless we know exactly what the benchmark is. Again, negotiation versus leadership signal. A lot of those concepts that negotiation is all about being pushy. And I don't want to be pushy, because women are not pushy, they are good girls. It's all about leadership. People need to see you as someone who is advocating not only for the ones who you manage, because oftentimes we are really very good at looking after others, our people who are on our teams, but we are not negotiating for ourselves. And financial confidence, of course, fuels careers, and it's all about impact and influence that women can, should, and will have across their communities when they have more financial power. If there is anything that you don't like in what I'm saying, don't agree, or have another view or something to add, please feel free. Yeah, those common myths, I really like them because there's many more, but let's look at 3 common myths. And they are not only myths, but they are beliefs as well. I will be seen as aggressive if I ask. Yeah, I wonder if any of us know many of our male colleagues who will think, oh, I will be seen as aggressive if I ask. It's not about being aggressive, again, provided that you ask in a proper way. Of course, you're not going to go and aggressively demand a salary raise. It's not about being aggressive. It's about knowing what you are worth and advocating for it. Oh, I will wait because they will reward me when I deserve it. No, they won't. If you don't ask, they won't, because they have many other people who do ask, and the budget is not, infinitive. Oh, there is no budget this year. I love that one. So many times I've heard it myself. There's no budget this year. So with all of those excuses, and I'm sure if I ask you, you will come up with much more. All of those excuses can be managed. Some of them are in our own heads, so we need to convince ourselves first that it's perfectly fair to negotiate. And other excuses, others are telling us there's no budget this year. But if there is no budget, you can always ask, okay, so when can we come back to this discussion? When we are starting in June, on February, if someone says there is no budget this year, then you are almost like, yeah, shall I come back next year, 12 months, what? If there is no budget this year, let's look at what else we can negotiate then in compensation for the money that I would get if there was a budget. Because oftentimes, we are negotiating much more than money. We are negotiating for a better position, for a better title, for flexible hours, for example, or working from home, or we don't need to have cash right now. We can get equity, for example. And then it doesn't have to be a big budget this year, right? So there is a lot of those myths, but also beliefs that we are telling ourselves before we even ask. But this is keeping us in the comfort zone, because you know what? You don't need to confront your own fears and go out and do negotiate, because you can always say to yourself, well, first of all, I will be seen as aggressive. Then I'm sure there is no budget because they are saying this all the time. And then I know they will reward me when I deserve it, I will wait. Yeah. And then you feel comfortable, but is it really comfortable? Now, once we know that there are so many myths and beliefs and reasons that we are not negotiating, that are holding us back, and how we can handle them, we should look at how we understand our own true value and how we explain our value to others. Because negotiation, remember, is about it's a transaction. It's you selling your services to this particular company. It's not personal. It's not about you. It's not even about the role. Because if someone else is in the role, they may be rewarded differently. It's about the value that you bring to the role, to the team, and to the organization. And this is the way to look at it. And this is the smart, define your unique ROI that you bring to the business. Yeah, but that's very important. When you prepare for a negotiation, do look at the data that you have. What are you bringing? What have been your achievements? How they translate into the achievements of the team, the strategy of the company. And sometimes it may be very difficult because some of us do not have that extremely tangible, achievements that can be immediately translated into money. But achievements, outcomes are tangible and non-tangible. If there are non-tangible outcomes, like, for example, when you are managing a team, that's a good one, because I recently had a client who was who was negotiating her salary with her line manager. And that was a really difficult situation because she has a really good team, a very well performing team. And the team was rewarded decently, really, really well. and praised and everything. But she herself was not necessarily rewarded well and not necessarily praised. And then there was this mismatch between her as being the leader of the team and the team itself. So when she started to negotiate with her line, he said, "No, but it's not about the team; it's about you." And then you see there will be thousands of really silly arguments, because how can you separate the performance of the team from the performance of the manager of the team? It's really very rarely when the manager of the team does not perform at all and the team performs anyway. So then we don't need this manager at all. So look at many things that you are bringing to the company, that you're bringing to the table. Make sure that you deliver on your line manager's objectives. So it starts with your objectives anyway. When you negotiate your objectives or discuss your objectives with your line, always ask what good looks like. What is it that they want you to deliver? Not just, I want you to deliver this and this. Yes, but how? What good looks like? What does it look like so that I can get the highest possible performance review rating, and also that I will be rewarded appropriately? It's an important question, because sometimes you may be asking this question and people may not be able to answer because they don't know, but you need to push them. You need to know, and you need to be checking every now and then, rather than learn at the end of the process that you didn't deliver, like this client of mine. She did deliver, but there was something that this line didn't like, but he never told her. So when I'm saying your unique ROI that you are bringing to the business, with everything from your leadership skills to your tangible objectives and outcomes, and to your influence in the company, your impact, the way others perceive you, and the role you play on the team. What I am encouraging here, and those who have been to these sessions before would recognize this, I often advocate for everyone to have a brag book, a document with your wins. Because sometimes during the performance review discussion, it's emotional and it's, quick, and we don't remember. But if you have your document where you're wrong, you don't need to show it to anyone. When you write down your key achievements and your wins, then first of all, it's very good for you, because it's a proof how good you are. And then when it comes to salary negotiation, you have this hard data, what you have done, what you have achieved, and you won't be caught in the situation where, well, yeah, but I've heard it so many times, it's really funny, but your salary is really at the top of the range for the position, for the range, or for the position that you are at. So what? If you deliver more, then perhaps you shouldn't be in this range. But then you need to have it as a tangible proof, your wins, your results. Internal and external benchmarking is very important, because, everything that I'm saying today is not about, okay, I will go and negotiate now, I don't know, 300% of raise because I'm worth it. Yeah, if you are so much underpaid, do. But it's all about knowing how much you are worth, and how relative to this company, their market, your role, and so on. So do go to Glassdoor or any other market data where you can see what the external benchmarking is. Many women that I work with say to me, oh, no, I can't ask for more, because when I was applying for other roles on the market, they were always telling me that I already earn too much. And yeah, and I think I'm paid a lot. But when you look at it closer, it proves that yes, perhaps they are paid a lot, but for a wrong position. So let me give you an example of a client of mine. She was at a position in the company which has outgrown already anyway, and she was performing at a different level, and she was also promised a different level so many times and a raise and so on. So she was unhappy because the raise and the promotion was not coming. So she was applying elsewhere. And elsewhere, she was applying for those positions. And they were saying to her, no, but you already are earning too much. Maybe, but I don't want to be at this position anymore. I now am aiming at a higher position because I already perform at this level. I don't have the title yet, but that's exactly what I'm aiming at. So the reason why I'm mentioning it now is because this is all about external benchmarking. And do remember, organizational titles, directors, associate directors, managing directors, executive directors, oftentimes are, how should I put it? They are not the same in every company. They very much depend on the industry, and even within one industry, like investment banking, for example, an executive director may be a director elsewhere, and an associate director may be well below a director somewhere else. It's all a naming convention. The naming conventions are not the same everywhere. So when you are already a director somewhere and you think you should be at executive director level, it may well be that whatever you are performing at now is already called executive director somewhere else. And that's why external benchmark is so very important. It's all about the role, the responsibilities, the mandate, and then the salary. So do check external. Internal is important as well, because how would you know if you are well paid if you don't know at all what your colleagues are being paid? If you are in a limbo and if you don't know, you will never be able to compare. So I know it's tough. A lot of people would not share, and they will not be willing to discuss it with you, but some will. And try and check it also across companies within one industry. It's also very, very important. It's also important when you go across countries. Like, for example, Switzerland is known for really, really good salaries. Now, the cost of life in Switzerland is absolutely enormous. It's like nowhere else. But still, the salaries are really, really very good. And then when you go for the same position, say to London, Europe still, right? It can be a different story altogether. So when you do the benchmark, look at everything that's relevant: the geography, the industry, the role, your position, your qualifications as well. Because if you have a higher qualifications or education, or I don't know what you're bringing to this role, then you should be aiming higher too. Yeah, remember I was saying about this, I was talking about this compensation strategy where we talk about more than your salary and more than money. So oftentimes it's the argument on the other side is, oh, we can't give you a pay rise because you are already at the top of the range. Yeah, maybe you are in the wrong range, but it's so difficult to give you another range now all of a sudden, and how will I do it? Okay, fine. So if you cannot give me more money salary-wise, why don't we discuss bonus? Or why don't we discuss anything in addition to my bonus? Again, maybe equity. It's oftentimes when we change jobs and we negotiate, this is the best time to negotiate. You will never have such a good time to negotiate at the time when you're joining a company. This is a really good time to think beyond salary. Think about your signing up bonus. if they can't give you a bigger salary. Think about the equity, the share. Think about your bonus, the regular bonus, and maybe one-time bonus linked to a particular project. Think about all those things. And this is your entire compensation. It's much more than salary only. That's why you need to think holistically. But it's not about money only. So think holistically. I've already mentioned flexible hours, working from home, being, for example, negotiating a better title. So I had a client who they couldn't or didn't want to give more money at that point, but she was awarded a better title. Better titles open many, many doors. It enabled her to join many executive committees at a company, which she previously wouldn't have because she was not seen as that senior. And some people will go for some people, the title is even more important than money. They will go for promotion without being properly rewarded, only to have this title. And because your line manager, chances are, knows about it, there are plenty of situations where people being promoted within, getting a new role, a bigger role, especially a bigger platform, don't negotiate because the argument on the other side is, yeah, but we can't give you a pay rise now. It's in the middle of the year, and it's not within the cycle, and so on. So let's wait, and now you have this big project. That's all very good, but chances are, when the cycle is back, it will all be forgotten, and in the meantime, you will already be managing a bigger mandate. So remember this, think holistically about it, not salary only, compensation, the entire compensation package, holistically being beyond money, also the intangible things that are important for you. Or maybe they will give you a different title. Maybe they will put you on a more interesting project. Or maybe you will join a committee, a governance body that is important for you. Maybe they will get you an executive coach or pay for your education, for your MBA, or for something else. So that's also important, but think about those things that are really, really important. And again, be careful, because if they pay for your MBA and then want you to stay for another 5 years, otherwise you'll have to give the money back, and maybe that's not what you want. And this is why here we say about strategic asks and negotiating long-term leverage, because do remember, this negotiation is not about here and now only. You want to secure something for yourself in a sustainable way, so that okay, maybe there is no budget now, but I want you to, maybe that's not the language I want you to, but let's discuss me joining this and this governance body. Let us discuss this a bonus once I deliver this project. It can all be delivered later, but decided now. So you are negotiating about your reward longer term as well, and your position longer term in the company. And remember, this is a leadership approach. They will see you as a leader, someone who strategically manages their role in the company and their career. Setting boundaries is important, and this is when I was quoting this. You will have a bigger project, and when there is another performance review cycle, we'll look at your salary. Fantastic, but this means that now you will be working longer hours, and you will have a bigger scope and you will not be rewarded. So this is when you come in and set your boundaries and say that's all about what is important for you and what are your non-negotiables. These are your boundaries. We were talking about non-negotiables here many times, and preferably do discuss your non-negotiables with your line manager before you even join. What is your what is the breaking point? At what point you decide, no, that's not what I want to do. For example, I don't want to take this project. I was managing a project that had a massive scope creep. And it started as an EMEA project in Europe, and then it was creeping to the to APAC in Asia, which for me meant I had to be, you know, alert all the time in European time zone and in or time frame and in the APAC time frame, and it was all very good until I also got the Americas. And all of a sudden, I couldn't win because it was almost like around the clock, and definitely from 8 to 8 p.m. or to 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. to make sure that I cover the entire Americas, so a region. And that was when I was not protecting my boundaries. I was really happy. It was an interesting project. And when I think about it now, now I think it's absolutely unacceptable. But then when I was really, really tired and I couldn't deliver anymore, and I knew I couldn't deliver, and someone will eventually notice. So I just said to my line, no, we have to renegotiate it now, because at some point I will just stop delivering because it's physically impossible. But what I want to tell you is that if you don't set your boundaries will be constantly pushed. So if you don't protect yourself, no one else will. These are those no negotiables. Are you with me so far? Or is anybody out there still?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Good.
I can only echo the last sentence you just said regarding if you won't protect yourself, no one will wait for you.
Yeah.
Some time back, I had a situation when I was giving back one of the projects to another person because of the fact that this project and the other project that I should take care about, those both projects at the same time was too much, and I communicated this, and there was a new person that I handed over this project. And when I was doing this handover process, I told this new person, listen, this is quite intense. You should take that into account. You should avoid taking this and something else on the top. And my colleague didn't listen. And he didn't protect himself in a way. He received this one from me and another one from someone else as a new joiner to the company. And after a few months, the obvious has happened. So he wasn't able to actually deliver anything. What was good was that he was actually protected by the colleagues from the team. So they started to communicate to him, hey, we observed you possibly have too much. He came back to me because they knew me already and said, maybe you can have a word with this colleague. Maybe he has too much because we see that he doesn't deliver. And unfortunately, this story has ended badly in a way that he took a long sick leave and then resigned. So this example shows that it is really important. And if we won't protect ourselves, it can influence not only our job or our performance, but also our health.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you for sharing, Eva, because it is a sad story, but it's so common. And it's not even because our line managers, our bosses, they are not human and they don't care and they don't even, think about us and so on. No, sometimes they are, but most times they simply don't even notice because there is so much going on. And if we don't voice it, and as Eva says, the colleagues have noticed. So it was obvious, but the line manager had so many things, other things on their plate that probably didn't notice because no one was saying no. No one was saying, help me, please. And then it ended badly. It ends badly also because this person then thinks that they are weak, that they can't deliver, that it's all about them. It's not about them. So look how it also shatters self-confidence at the end. And it is okay, as Eva says, to go and say, this is too much. Like this is what I did with my line the other day with this 17 projects program. When I said to her, I can't deliver everything, at some point I will stop delivering, therefore please help me. And she said, okay, I said, please help me prioritize. And she said, yes, let's prioritize together. So every Monday we were looking at the book of work, and we're looking at what will not be delivered, what will be given a second or the third priority, because other things were more important. It is possible, and if it's not possible, it falls into your non-negotiables, perhaps. Thank you, Eva. That's really powerful. Yeah, we spoke about rewiring our internal narratives, which is worth with versus permission. Permission is, or am I allowed to negotiate? Is it okay to negotiate? Is this the right time? Or it's too soon, it's too late, it's maybe not the right day of the week. And if we think about it in a different way, it's about my worth and how much I bring to the table. It has nothing to do with being pushy or asking for permission. It's not a kindergarten. It's a business transaction. You are selling your services to this company. If you rewire this internal narrative, then it's so much easier to negotiate because you come to this as a business to business. It's a business discussion. It's not personal. Yes, it's about you because at the end of the day, you negotiated. It's your role, but it has nothing to do with your personality or anything like that. This is about what you are delivering. So if you have it, this narrative rewired and also rewritten with your win book or brag book, with your achievements related to the company's strategy, to the objectives of the team, and so on. This is the ROI. If you have it also paired with the benchmark, external and internal benchmark, and if you know for sure that given all this, you should be rewarded, you should be compensated differently, then you have a business case. Look at this as a business case. It is a business case. And again, going back to your non-negotiables, also remember, no or not now is a part of the process. It's not a rejection. If not now, when? If there is no budget now, let's talk about what else can be done if there is no budget now, and so on and so on. Before you go and negotiate, I do recommend rehearsing this discussion with someone you trust, with your allies, someone from your friends, family, because it's much easier when you do this role play to go to the real situation, because it is intimidating. It is very stressful. It is power imbalance because you're all of a sudden in front of your line and you have so many fears, or maybe she or he will fire me, or maybe they will not respect me anymore. Maybe they will think I'm pushy and being difficult, and so on and so on. But if you have the right mindset, if you have the evidence, and if you are respectful and polite, there is no reason why they should be thinking, I don't know what about you. Yeah, I love this one. Use silence and calibrated questions. Silence is, you don't need to fill in silence with you talking all the time. If you say what you want to say and pause, because otherwise you are diluting the message. And silence can be very, very powerful. And still remember, I know there is power imbalance, but in a way it is a discussion. Yeah, I know this doesn't sound right, but it is a discussion of equal with equal, because this is a business transaction. This is a business case that you are bringing to someone who is buying your services, right? If you reframe it like that, it becomes less stressful. And being stressed is all okay, because it's all about, about our brain, the oldest brain that we have, protecting us from being hurt and protecting us from danger. But it's not about. So our brain doesn't care about us feeling good and earning more money and so on. We have to be safe. So whenever you are stressed, this comes up, and then you can't be as effective. Therefore, this rehearsing is also important. Calibrated questions are the questions when you're almost ready for every argument, which is impossible, I know. But you know all the good ones that are coming all the time. It's not in the budget. We have no money. You know what is the economic situation in the world now? It is after the war, before the war. It is during the pandemic or after the pandemic. There is always something. It is the summertime, or it's it's just Christmas and no one is around, or we are at the end of the year, therefore we have no budget, or we are at the beginning of the year, therefore we don't have budgets yet. So there is always something, right? But you can be prepared for those questions. If this is not the right time, when is the right time for me to come back? Can we agree a follow-up? Never leave the discussion without having an action plan, how to address what you want to address, because you are coming with an issue, right? You don't think you are compensated properly. So this is why your questions should be calibrated the way that you explore all the options, you don't touch your non-negotiables, and you know where the discussion is heading. Be polite, be professional, and be prepared. Have everything you need to this discussion, and never leave the room without saying, what is the follow-up? Also remember about the timing, because timing is everything here. And it will be very different depending on the company. I read recently that the best time is to discuss it during your performance review. I think this is too late. Because during your performance review, they already know. They already know what they want to give you as a rate. And this already positions you in the range for your salary review. So I wouldn't, there are some better than moments than others during the year, but it's important to do it before those, milestones, if you like, during the year, or whatever, for the want of a better word, when there is a salary review, when there is, after the performance review, when there is a budget being set up, for example, or when there is a big project, for example, given to you all of a sudden, right? A bigger role, a different role, a bigger platform. That's a natural one to ask about the salary raise, no matter whether it's June, January or December. Because then you can always secure something for yourself, say in 3 months, for example, but you already know. Yeah, the ask framework, the 5 steps. And we discussed it all. That's why I will go through it quickly. The ask framework comes from those 5 steps. It needs to be anchored in data. We discussed the data, benchmark, external, internal, plus your wins book. Speak with strategic timing. I have already covered it. Keep it collaborative. Collaborative means, when can we do this? How can we approach this? These are the questions that you are asking. How can we address my salary question? How can we do so? Make it collaborative in the way that it's not just you. It's a common thing now. It's you and your line, and the two of you need to discuss it and address it. Having your walk away defined is all about no negotiables. It's important as well because the easiest walk away is, okay, there's no budget, there's nothing, thank you so much, and see you tomorrow. Because we are so worried that if we push, they will fire us or whatever. But do remember, if you have all the data, and if you have a good business case, there is no reason for anyone to fire you all of a sudden. Do continue the discussion. Be polite, be collaborative, be firm about it. When can we come back to this discussion? What else I should deliver? What else I should do to get what I want or what I need? Not what I want or what I need. What I believe I should get, because that's what I'm worth. Language is important. That's why I wouldn't go with I need this or I want this. Yeah, following up with clarity and grace means after the meeting, do come back to your line with, not with minutes necessarily, but a quick note saying, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. And we agreed this and this. And yeah, we agreed to meet, say, I don't know, in a month's time, in a week time, or this is the date that we are meeting next. This follow-up is very important because, first of all, you want to have it in writing, whatever has been agreed. And also you want them to know that you are serious about it. You will come back to it. There has to be a follow-up. Remember, I was saying that pushback is a part of the process. Rejection is a part of the process. So it's all about how you manage the discussion, separating your content from your tone. And remember, it's not personal. I know it's hard because you will be nervous and so on, but don't be demanding. Don't be pushy in your language. Just separate those two things if you can. And this is why you are rehearsing. Stay curious, ask questions. Remember, companies have a lot of possibilities beyond salary raise. Stay curious. Yeah, talk about shared goals, of course. It's in the interest of the company to keep you, right? Because you are delivering. That's a shared goal. You are all in the same team. Yeah, and revisit when a new value is added. So this is the one where we always, whenever you get something bigger to manage, something else to manage, a different role, this is a time to revisit your discussion about your salary if it doesn't come naturally for you. Yeah. I have a couple of case studies who are real. And I'm not going to present them now. We only have 5 minutes to go, but I want you to know that being shy, not negotiating or your worth means that you are losing out every day. And there is a compound effect to it, because if you look back on how many years you have never negotiated and how much you believe you should have been paid and what you are being paid, it's at the end of the day it comes up to a lot, to a serious amount. But if you do, and I have someone who, a senior leader, who was very hesitant to negotiate ever, but when she did, she got 40% of uplift. Here is a consultant who packaged a pivot with a 6-figure retainer. That's more about a business or being a consultant, because this negotiation ended up with having a six-figure contract with a retainer, which means they were getting the money as for another contract and yet another contract and yet another contract. This is what was agreed. So that was a huge win. And this quiet leader was an IT person who used metrics to earn a seat at the table, which is to get a more senior role and much more influential, if you like. But again, this person used hard data. And this hard data, and you can think like, yeah, but they all know what I'm doing. Yes, they do, but they know what I'm doing, you are doing, and others. But at the end of the day, when you bring this very concrete document with numbers and everything, this becomes real. This becomes about you. It's no longer blended in the entire team. Yes. Final insights and the action plan that I promised I have for you. And the challenge that I have for you is do set yourself a 30-day negotiation goal, which means at the end of the 30 days, you will have a clear plan what, when, and with whom you are going to negotiate. Identify your value stories and your allies. And when I say value stories, go back to your deliverables, to your achievements, to your value added. So have this win book. Allies are people who are ready to share their compensation with you, not to give you, but to share the information about their compensation with you. And remember, it doesn't have to be, oh, how much do you earn question, but it may be a ballpark figure that you may want to share with someone you trust, and this person can do the same with you. But it's also looking at the benchmark, external benchmark, and maybe also trying to know what are what are the ranges, what is the compensation policy in your company, because that will help you position yourself. And then I say join a practice circle, which really means once you have an ally, do a role play with them before you go and negotiate. So I challenge you to come up with this in the next 30 days and have in mind when are you going to use it. Yes, this one is last and I love it. Commit to yourself that you will be never ever under earning again. This one is powerful. This one is big. Okay. So that's really it, everyone, on the meeting and anyone who is listening to the recording. Hello to every one of you. Are there any immediate questions or insights now from the team here? Oh,
I would only say that I wish I would hear this when I was like 20 or 25.
me too, Eva, really. I wish I knew that. I wish I had all the wisdom when I was much, much younger. But as they say, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today.
That's true. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So much. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, ladies. Bye-bye.